1997, I was invited to preach somewhere, and they said I should have a crusade and just run it however I want to run it. And my programs there were 4 days, 3 days. Dr. K is here, God bless him. We do program 5 days. We just have a good time. From Tuesday to Saturday, we are just having programs. So they said to me, you cannot do the program for your regular time frame. It has to be 2 days. And I said, why? They said, because 2 days before you come is our festive period. And the first day we just do the normal ritual according to what they said. But the second day is when the masquerade comes out, and nobody is permitted to open their doors. And after that, the other day you can start the program. Run it from Thursday and Friday. Now, that time, I had this anger by reason of certain things I've experienced. So I decided to come a day ahead of the festival. Because I was interested in seeing the masquerade that nobody sees. So that first day I saw them carrying baskets, some wearing white clothes, some ladies going bare, some men, throwing powdery substance. I was interested in that because these are mortals like me. I wanted to see masquerade. So the second day, around 5 a.m., there was an alarm. You had an announcer go around and warn people not to come out. Sir, an elevated portion, so we could see some parts of the city. Minutes to 6, I opened these jokes. I want to tell you the reality of spirits. I opened the door a bit. Sir, the wind, the hurricane that came, I was struggling to hold the door. I opened the door. Now I'm begging the door to close. The wind. And guess what? As the wind was coming, I saw someone taking steps. This was not 6 foot. This was tall, huge. But that was not what shocked me. As it was moving, sir, I was saw this as though it got intelligence that there was a spy. I'm talking of spirits. It's as though he got intelligent that there was a spy, and he just turned, and his gaze was on me. All of a sudden, I saw a force coming. All I could say, whatsoever is born of God, whatsoever is born of God, overcometh the world. Whatsoever is born of God. So I could see it leave the ground and was just coming towards my direction. Whatsoever is born of God. 1 John 5 verse 4. Whatsoever is born of God, whatsoever is born of God, overcometh the world. And as it was coming, it stopped and turned. Sir, I wasn't dreaming. I wasn't half asleep. I was wide awake, and I saw the force coming like that. And as it left, the door was shut. That when it left, when I went around the city in the evening, that was why I knew why the city was not developed. That was why I knew why there was no electricity. That was why I knew why people could not get married. That was why I knew why the city had more mud houses than modern houses. Because when there are involvement of spirits, manifestations of prosperity is veiled. When there are involvement of spirits, there is delay, though talented. When the involvement of spirits, though educated, you are stranded. When there's involvement of spirits, though anointed, you are not accepted. When there's involvement of spirits, you have many connections but few collections. When there's involvement of spirits, you look attractive but yet something repels men when they see you. I come by the force of grace to make declaration here. Every involvement of contrary spirits in your life, I take dominion. Their power is shattered from the roots. They have gone far. They have gone too far. They go no further. I terminate their manifestation. I terminate their assignment. Somebody shout fire. Somebody shout fire. Somebody shout fire. Let me show you something. Take your seat. Be seated. Be seated. I need to educate you on what this born again thing is, because many of us don't understand it. We think being born again is a total alienation, disconnection from anything that existed before you were regenerated. So it's your soul that is saved. Your spirit is regenerated. Your mind should be renewed. but your body must be subjected. Your body is not born again. That is why you go hungry. That is why you go hungry. Your body is not born again. That is why you have a child. Your child was not immaculate conception. It was a reaction from your body. Am I talking to somebody here? The body is tied to culture. The body is tied to tradition. Which I could talk to somebody here. Be seated, be seated. I was talking to a medical doctor, and we were just discussing because I was trying to do a lot of survey. And she's quite very vast in medicine. She's been a doctor for 51 years. So I said, Mama, tell me a story. I want to know about certain ailments. He said, why? I said, there's something I'm doing research. Because I discovered, I must tell you, I told Pastor Benny this. Why is it there are many people who were healing evangelists, but they died sick? There are many pastors with healing mantles, but they are not seeing an ailment. There are many believers who are walking with Jesus in intimacy, but they are managing something. I said, please tell me. And he began to show me. She told me a lot of things. She said, let me give you an instance. She said to me that this thing called fibroid is more in the south than in the north. I'm talking of culture and elements that body responds to. I began to do a proper x-ray. Are you aware that those of you from riverine areas, you have more battles to fight? I'm telling you the truth. Ministerially, maritally, materially, let nobody fool you. Don't hide under the guise of spiritual laziness to form a revelation. Your inability to intercede should not validate reality. It should not invalidate reality. So there are spirits. I want to lay that just on the sideline before I begin to share what I want to share with you. So you must, and it takes your connectivity to a higher spirit to operate preeminence over a lesser spirit. You can't be casual and go and destroy your father's idols. You will complicate your life. You can't be casual and go to the village and you are destroying idols. He said, take the young child and run. This is divinity. Divinity at infancy. Divinity. He said, run till you get mastery. Please be seated and let's flow. Am I communicating here? Here we read, so let's take it. Jesus went to the mountain from verse 1. He came down from the mountain, and a question, which was a gang up, a setup, was brought before him. And see the way he resolved it. Men of the mountain see different from men on the valley. Sir, it takes a mountain mentality to resolve doubts. A man is coming from the place of prayer. He doesn't see like you see. Jesus approached it, attended to it, because he was coming from the place of prayer. He saw differently. You are too casual to be relevant. With this your casual life, this your casual and ordinary living, sir, what you are up against, the men you are up against are paying prices. I was at America, and I did 2 connections, commercial flight, 2 connections. The man flew with me. We are 2 seats apart. Just said hello, hi. We did a connection. We met ourselves again in the plane. I see you in the last flight. He said, yes, it's like we meet ourselves again. We're sitting together. The last flight, they asked if I would eat anything. I said, no. You have freshly squeezed orange. They gave me. This man said he's not taking anything. The next flight, I was hungry. I took something. This man said he's not taking anything. The last flight to the final destination, this man again says, so I asked him. I said, it's like you are fasting. He said, yeah. Oh, I was so impressed. I said, wow, are you a minister? He said, what do you mean minister? I said, are you a man of God? He said, man, I know. God, I know. What is man of God? I know man, I know God. So what is man? Be seated. He said, so I said, what is man of God? I said, I mean, a clergy. He said, no. And mentioned the sect he belonged to. The sect, the cult. I said, okay. I said, you are? He said, yes. that they are all worldwide having a 7-day dry fast. I said, I'm finished. I'm eating. And me, I'm eating. 7 days dry fast. These are men connecting to spirits. And you are just casual because you believe that all you need to arm yourself with is confession. Confessions are good, but warfession is better. Warfession is better. Jesus approached a matter. Sir, you could not get results or dissolve doubt because you didn't approach that matter with the mentality of a man walking in the spirit, with the mindset of a man of prayer. Nothing is too hard. He said, I'm the God of all flesh. Is there anything too hard for me? Sir, everyone under the sound of my voice, what was complicated will become easy. What was hard will become easy. What was difficult will become easy. What was difficult will become easy. If your amen is louder, take the blessing. Be seated. The woman was caught in the act of what? Talk to me. Of what? Was she a thief? Was she a truant? Was she an insincere person? Adultery. Now, this does not reduce the immoral stance of adultery. This does not belittle any form of sin. But one weakness is too immaterial to invalidate a person. My husband is too aggressive, but he's a provider. My husband yells, but he fulfills his matrimonial duties. My wife sleeps too much, but she cooks well. Why will you invalidate a person because of one error? There are so many of us with some total, a person, because of just one. Just one mistake. You know, I used to have a lot of stress counseling couples, but it's the easiest thing for me to do now. Very easy. When they sit, tell me some good things about this person. And when the woman is talking, you see her glowing and blushing. He's trying, Sha. He's trying. And you want to walk out and you still feel this way? A man said he's leaving his wife. The wife was about to sit down and almost missed her step, and he helped her. He helped her. I said, oh. And you are leaving. He said, no, she almost fell. Sir, there are so many of us who invalidate ourselves because the devil shows you an element of error. Somebody lifts up her hands to pray, and the devil told you just had a fight with your husband. Put it down now. Put your hands down now, and you feel belittled. Who is he that justified? It is Christ that died. Who shall lay a charge to God's elect? You are a child of destiny. Am I speaking here? There is a strong point that you have. He said, bring forth your strong reasons. Don't let the devil lie to you about an error. That is why Jesus died. Don't let the devil lie to you about something that went wrong. That is why Jesus died. Am I communicating? He that is from above is above all. Who shall lay a charge to God's elect? It is God that justifies. Hear me, child of God. God sees you from the eyes of your strength. God sees you from your eyes of his covenant with you. I need you to tell the devil you are a liar. Am I communicating right? There's somebody under the sound of my voice who has felt this victimhood, who has felt this weakness and this rejection because of something that happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Your past is your history. Your present might be a mystery, but your future is your destiny. There is something about your life. There is something special about you. What shall you imagine against the Lord? For he shall make an utter end. For affliction shall not rise again the second time. I do not know who I'm speaking to, but I blow the horn of victory. I blow the horn of validation. I blow the horn of honor. I blow the horn of grace. I see a turnaround in your life. Tell 5 people, I am strong. I am strong. Be seated. There was tension. Are you aware that this whole story we just read now, Apostle, you see this whole story? This whole story in John chapter 8. It was a setup. It was a setup. They caught her in the very act. So they knew the process. They knew where she came. They knew when they caught her in the act. It was a setup. And nobody commits adultery alone. They brought the woman. Where's the man? That's the actress. Where's the actor? Because they were acting. It was a setup. Let me shock you that the man was part of them. They used a whole dignity of, so the man must have led her on, manipulated the emotions and her will. What he had in mind was that this woman was an experiment. Are you aware there are people who trade with emotions, who experiment with people's emotion? I mean, you are entering into a business, you know this is fraudulent, but you are experimenting. You make somebody drop capital, but you are not sincere in this whole thing. I've seen, oh my God, a lady was crying to me yesterday, over 1.6 billion that she was duped. Who duped her? A pastor. And when she said so, I said, stop saying pastor in my ear. He said, he is not a pastor. Just say he says he's a pastor. Because no pastor will dupe you. Am I talking to somebody here? Someone came to me on Sunday, a Muslim. And when she came, and she was a bit confused. And they said she's coming from Abuja. As she walked in, she opened the phone. And I was a bit uncomfortable. And she started showing me pictures. She showed me the picture of a preacher. And I said, okay, what happened? She said 3.5 billion in 11 months. That is what that's been siphoned from me. 3.5 billion. And he says, sir, and the problem is worse. The issue is worse. Am I communicating? And when she started narrating, I had to just keep quiet. And I was hearing all the wrong things. You don't take advantage of people. We had done praying. She was leaving. She opened her bag and brought out some dollars. I said, what is that? He said, to give you. I said, hey, they took 3.5 from you. You want to add dollars to it? Madam, go. Carry your wallet and go before you add me to the list of people that. So guess what? When she will leave that place, what will she say? I saw one who didn't take money. You need to be intentional in creating difference. Be intentional. Be seated. Be seated. Manipulating people. So a woman's will, dignity, respect was used as an experiment. I have seen. Now, watch this. But let me shock you. That woman was only a bait. Jesus was the target. Because they needed to hold something valid against him. If he says, leave her, let her go. Oh, you are endorsing sin. If he said, condemn her. Oh, we thought you came for redemption. You are committing an abnormality of taking life. No, they needed to trap her somewhere. If only they are aware. They thought they are attacking you. It's not you, it's him. They thought they contend you. It's not you, it's him. Any threat to your life is a threat against his covenant. If your enemies are aware, they would have long left you alone. They thought that this gang up is against you. No, it's against him. When you dare a product, you are challenging the integrity of the manufacturer. It is him, not you. It's not your fight. If you are aware that you are owned by a deity, sir, there are certain level of fear you will not express. Just make sure you are under that deity. You are sold and submitted to it. That is what gives you valid authority against spirits. Valid authority against spirits. And there are people who are not aware. So they keep trying. They keep threatening. They keep trying.